2, 3.
That's actually pretty crisp. That was pretty good.
We all did good claps.
Good job.
Okay, so you're just going to read this, and then you call into each of us, and then you read that with your one-liner. You do all our quips. Okay? So whenever you want to start.
All systems nominal.
それでは早速連続前進
You wanna know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
A
Protocol 3.
pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Kyle, and I'm joined by Alice.
Will you fuck my dad?
Brian.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to Bring Your Child to Work Day at the Military Government Facility. Make sure you're signed up to bring something to the semi-annual government OPSEC potluck picnic.
And Nico.
Maybe the real suicide prevention was the family we found along the way.
And this time we're discussing I'm immune to scurvy. Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla. Let's launch into it.
Wait a minute, guys. There's something different about this recording.
I don't think anything's different. I think this is exactly how.
How many hosts do we have?
No, we have to do the count off thing. Like when there's an evil impersonator that joins your group in a creepypasta.
Oh, we have to do it in order. Alice, number 1.
Nico,
Brian 2? What?
Nico 3.
Kyle, 4.
Wait a
Hold
minute.
on.
Record scratch. We're also looking at each other during.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh.
fucking. Well, to be fair, we do use cameras during, so we don't.
Oh,
lose
yeah,
much
that is true.
crosstalk, But,
No, but we could hold hands.
we could literally sit in a kumbaya. So
Kyle and I are
Alice
holding
and Kyle
hands.
are
We're holding hands.
Come here.
Oh god.
Come here, we have to hold hands.
Oh, like fully
Floor,
crawling,
Nico.
crawling across the carpet. Oh.
Is this a mech?
Combined as a mech.
Okay.
Now, who the fuck is Kyle and why are they here?
I don't know. I don't know this man.
Well, Kyle has the distinct honor of being the first person ever to marry into a podcast. Get over
Let's
it.
hear it for Kyle.
Kyle and Brian got married this weekend, and it was a beautiful ceremony. We all cried a lot. We were in person.
I didn't.
Alice cried like a bitch multiple times. Just be aware of it. Anyway, on this wonderful occasion to mark it, I think we want to do something a little special and make Kyle do our jobs.
Bad decision. Really bad decision.
What people don't tell you is once you get married to someone who has a podcast, you have to host that podcast at least once.
Yeah.
It's
Everyone's saying this.
everyone. And even more special is we let our guest pick the fucking media.
To add another champion, literally Criterion Collection film to our recent streak of superlative film.
Is this really in the Criterion, correct?
It is in the great. Wait,
I don't know if
this
this one is.
This one is. Okay, no.
Not yet.
The Showa series is in
The
the
entire
Criterion
Showa.
collection.
We watched another extremely excellent Criterion Collection movie. This one I'm sure they'll be adding soon.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, so at this part, this is when you talk about the media, so you're going to give an overview. So, like, say this was produced, this is part of the franchise, and then I just wrote down some facts kind of in a sentence.
Kyle is
And
doing
here
this
you're
all on
going
his
to
own.
ask us what we know, and then we're going to ask you what you know, and then I just wrote a quick synopsis. Look how quick it is. It's that,
Right.
and then we transition to it. So you do this whole segment. You lead this segment. Yeah, good luck.
Great. So,
I'm piloting Kyle through this podcast.
yeah.
Kyle is a mech right now.
Kyle is a
And then I
man.
got piloted. So, Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla. Produced in 2002 by Toho Pictures, 88 minutes long. It is part of the Millennium series of Godzilla movies, where only the originals are canon. That's not really true. Only the original movie, the original Gojira movie is canon.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wait, really? That's the only one for the Millennium series that's canon?
The entire Millennium series. Each one is like a standalone sequel to the original Gojira. Except for Tokyo SOS, which is a sequel to this one.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
I think it's well constructed, frankly.
I think it's kind of cool.
I mean, I love the idea of...
It's like a bunch of AUs.
Yeah.
Godzilla High School AU.
Yeah.
It's Godzilla running with the biggest piece of toast And
Godzilla
It's a
coffee
building.
shop AU. You can't use the Steam one.
Oh, let's see. It had a budget of 1 billion yen, equal to 8.5 million USD at the time.
that's pretty low, actually.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That's so much. That's the costume.
Yeah.
Let's see, for a box office of 14.1 billion USD.
Oh, that's not bad.
They did pretty
well.
good.
So actually, we're covering a highly successful film.
I am pretty sure people really like this one.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
awful,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
Yeah.
See, it was made after the successful revival of Mothra and King Ghidorah.
So those
In
were the
real life.
first 2 Millennium films, right?
That's
Well, that's what happened in the movie. They wouldn't just put that in the movie.
I'm assuming when you say the successful revival of Mothra and King Ghidorah, you mean like in real life?
During the
So that
movie,
they
they're
could
like,
cast them?
Mothra came back, and then King Dora.
They didn't have King Ghidorah.
Oh.
They mentioned Mothra.
I swear to God, we can
In that montage.
Keep going with
It was-
my bad research.
It was directed by Masaka Tezuki, a man known for directing Godzilla vs. Megagearus, which was the second movie of the Millennium series, and nothing else before this, and not much after besides its sequel. The producer Shogo Tomiyama produced over 15 Godzilla and Godzilla adjacent films. Writer Wataru Mimura, terrible at names,
too.
made his career on Toho's Godzilla series. Most of these people would find work on the entire Millennium series together, which ended after Godzilla Final Wars in 2004, the 50th anniversary of the Godzilla franchise. So friends, what did you know about Godzilla in general before this?
First off, not your friend.
Wow!
I'm your fellow podcaster.
I'm also your fellow podcaster, but also your officiant. New Lord just dropped.
New Lord just
Lord just
dropped.
dropped.
Nico is ordained. So if you want a podcast wedding,
Yeah.
If you want a podcast wedding, contact.
We really should have mic'd the wedding. I knew nothing. I don't really fuck with the giant monster films. I watched that -1 film because everyone said it was good, but then my entire knowledge of the Godzilla and giant what would you call the giant monster franchise?
like the kaiju movies.
Kaiju.
The
Yeah.
kaijus.
Yeah.
No, those are in
No,
Pacific
they're
Rim.
not just in Pacific Rim. Uprising, I
Oh,
promise.
but I knew nothing besides.
Uprising specifically is where the word kaiju comes from.
It wasn't around before then.
they had to
no.
workshop it with all the.
Yeah.
But I knew nothing. What about you, Brian?
I didn't really know anything about this. My dad loves Godzilla and had like every single Godzilla movie when I was
Shout out
growing
to
up.
Brian's dad, big fan, met him at the wedding.
Yeah.
You were so sweet to us. I'm sorry we were so awkward.
Yeah.
Thank you
Sometimes
for
we're not
watching.
used to being a celebrity.
Thank you for
Which we
watching The
are.
Price of Smiles.
Which we
episode.
are.
Celebrity wedding.
Thank you for watching the Price of Smiles episodes, which made Alice crouch on the ground in real life in psychic damage.
Please,
Knowing
nobody
that-
listen to those episodes.
Anyway,
But I never really watched them until like I know basically the cover art of everything very intimately.
Oh, because you have the DVDs and everything.
But yeah, so that was pretty much it. Like I've always liked but not loved Godzilla. I've watched way more of it since I entered a relationship with this man.
the Godzilla enjoyer.
The Godzilla enjoyer, the local Godzilla enjoyer, which is actually this is our first actual. I mean, I guess unless you count Pacific Rim
we
Uprising,
have to legally.
this is like our first like pure kaiju movie that we've done.
I'm gonna make the executive decision and say Pacific Rim Uprising had nothing to do with kaiju.
Yeah, that was more about multiverse.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and how evil straight people are.
yep.
Which this movie is also about.
I give the dad a pass. Anyway, okay, we established over dinner that the most formative Godzilla movie for me was the 1998 film with Matthew Broderick.
Which is not a Godzilla movie.
Why is it not a Godzilla movie? Godzilla is there. She's
Godzilla
there.
known in name only.
Godzilla in name only.
Fun
Oh my
fact,
God.
in Godzilla Final Wars, Toho actually uses that Godzilla model and they just call it Zilla.
Oh,
And it lasts
she's the straight up Zilla.
2 seconds in a fight with Godzilla before dying. It's really great.
That's so fucked, because wasn't that one female? What about women's rights? Toho is setting back feminism. Anyway, that was my first
See,
movie.
It's funny because I keep being like, oh, Toho, like the anime girl game.
Oh,
and that
God.
also set back feminism.
True. No, so yeah, I loved that film because I was a dinosaur kid, and I was like, my God, it's a new dinosaur just dropped. It's not real.
New Dino just dropped.
Your dino drop.
And so my mom got me the plastic figure, which was really well made if what you wanted to use it for was to put it in the yoke of the Barbie dream carriage instead of the horse. And you wanted to put Buzz and Woody in the carriage like they were getting married. I think there were some signs about kind of who I am as a person. But yeah, no, I loved that Godzilla, and then I kind of never came back to it, unfortunately, until I heard really good things about Godzilla 2014, the American movie, which is despite its crippling straight stories be crippling these movies. Anyway,
Yeah.
Despite its crippling straight story, it had some excellent visuals, and so I've been recently getting into them. But I had only ever seen the classic films where there are like most of them are on HBO Max. I'd seen like the different covers with the different weird little guys. So I didn't know anything about this one. I knew Mechagodzilla existed, but I didn't know Mechagodzilla could be literal. But what did you know, Kyle?
Too much.
Everything.
Everything. No, I'm an obsessed little Godzilla freak, especially when I was younger. When I got sick in like middle school, my parents would rent this for me.
Oh.
I did a couple of years ago, last year or something. The Criterion Collection did come out with the entire Showa era on DVD, and I got that because I had to, and it's incredible, and I love it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure
Is it one giant box set?
it's like
It's a big ass book.
it's like a big ass book.
Yo!
And you open
It's very
it,
cool.
and it's got like on the inside covers parts, it's got the DVDs laid out, and like there's like pages that give some like
That's
information
really cool.
and
It's
stuff. Yeah.
incredibly cool.
It's
I love the
cool.
Criterion Collection.
And like all the cover, they got like new cover art and all the movies done by like different
nice.
artists.
Oh,
Some
that's
of-
cool.
Some of them are really cool. I think it's Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster one. It's got like kind of an Aztec looking style with like it's Ghidorah and Godzilla fighting. It's
Premium.
great. But yeah, no, I love Godzilla.
I love this for you.
But what do you love about Mechagodzilla? No.
Because he's a giant robot.
We're all saluting.
We're all saluting.
This is like my second favorite Mechagodzilla design in this movie because the OG one's peak.
Okay.
Peak.
A taste, a connoisseur.
Wait, how many Mechagodzillas are there?
Let's see.
Yeah.
There's the original one. There's Mechagodzilla 2 from the Heisei series. There's this one from the Millennium series. There's a Godzilla anime show on Netflix,
Mhm.
like the second season movie, whatever it is. They introduced the idea of Mechagodzilla, but by that point in time, it's like a city because it was like supposed to be nanorobots
Mhm.
that created it. But then by the time they find it, it's like just a big factory city. And then there's the one from
The
the
newer.
legendary movies with Godzilla versus King Kong.
Okay, I feel like I've seen one recently.
Yeah. And there's also one that shows up in Ready Player One. Like
Oh,
the bad guy becomes a Mechagodzilla. It's a cool design,
Yeah.
but like
And is that canon to the
Yeah.
Godzilla?
Oh, thank
There's
God.
also the one in Tankhead.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's also
Yes,
one in
there
Tankhead.
Throwback.
Okay,
Throwback.
but so here's my question. So my thought was that Mechagodzilla was just a robot version of Godzilla, but in this movie, it's actually piloted.
Yeah.
How many times is it piloted versus how many times is it just a robot? You don't have to give me exact numbers, but like, is it more often a robot or more often piloted?
Hard to say because like the first one was a robot for the first movie because it had 2 movies. The second one, I think it was more of like a cyborg situation. There's like this girl's brain controlling it. Mechagodzilla 2 from the Heisei era, I think is kind of the same concept as this. Was there was a pilot? I don't remember. It's been a while, and I don't remember exactly.
And I think in the most recent ones, it was just a robot again.
The most recent one actually gets piloted by a guy.
Yeah, but then,
Oh, like a
but
big-
then yeah, because they used King Ghidorah skulls to like psychically control it. And there was a guy piloting it for a while, but then like the King Ghidorah took over and like killed that guy. So technically, it was a robot then.
I love.
There was so many words I just heard.
Yeah,
So many lore.
All right.
Synopsis.
Synopsis.
What happened in
What happens in
which we have to be clear, it's against,
Yeah,
not versus.
yeah,
Not
this is
versus.
against.
Not versus. This is against.
Yes. 45 years after the original Godzilla's attack, a new member of Godzilla's species appears. The Anti-Megalosaurus Force, or AMF, a part of the Japanese Defense Force, is unable to repel the beast. During this battle, Lieutenant Akane Yashiro, in a moment of panic, inadvertently leads to a commanding officer and her fellow soldiers getting killed. While she wrestles with this, single dad Tokumitsu, Yuhara, and many other scientists are wrangled together to build a biomechanical robot from Godzilla's original skeleton. The cyborg Godzilla, named Kiru, a clumsy Japanese portmanteau of Kai Ryo, or Machine Dragon, is developed over 4 years while a group called Kiru Squad is changed to pilot both and assist the weapon of mass destruction, where Akane finds herself seeking redemption for her past by being chosen to pilot Kiru. Upon being revealed to the public, Godzilla appears again, and Kiru is deployed immediately to fight it. Despite winning the fight, Godzilla's cry makes Kiru go on a rampage, destroying part of Tokyo before its battery runs out. They patched up that issue, and when Godzilla returns, it's a drawn-out fight that leaves Kiru damaged, but Godzilla leaving heavily damaged and withdrawing back to the sea. This fight, and Tokumitsu's daughter Sarah's encouragement, give Akane the courage to finally say yes to dinner with a single dad, ending the movie in a triumphant draw with a planned dinner date. And with that, we'll head into the break.
Hey, Nico here in the break. Just wanted to let you know that while this is a podcast, and we'll always do our best to describe visuals we're commenting on, we'll also include links to the mechs and images we discuss in the show notes, and post actual photos on our show website. Along with that, make sure to check the show notes for content warnings as appropriate to the episode. That's all for now. Back to the show.
So how we do this next part is I break it up by parts. So part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So you kind of just give like an overview of the first part. I kind of wrote down what happens, but you can give it in your own words. But it's just kind of remind us of where we're at in the discussion. And then once we get to the end and we're all kind of vibing, that's when we do the rest. But
Sure.
okay.
I want to talk about, real quick though, I want to talk about kaiju as a genre.
Okay.
I would love that.
Yes.
I think that this is, so kaiju is really interesting. Kaiju and tokusatsu are both very interesting in that they have a very different ratio of like the set of expectations that genre expects you to bring to it. Tokusatsu and like a lot of mecha also have a very different ratio of like film artifice to like believability of the events that you're seeing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, it's become, especially like in the earlier films, it's a lot less about like making it look as realistic as possible and just like making it look cool.
Yeah.
And so like there's going to be a lot of talk of like, oh, these miniatures looked great. Oh, this explosion looked great. It is a sparkler. It is a toy.
Yeah.
And you can see that on the screen.
But you love it.
But you love
I
it.
love it. It's
Yeah,
great.
legit.
Or you don't. And that's just kind of what I wanted to say in terms of like, if you go to watch this movie and you're like, what the fuck is this? I don't think the genre hits for everybody.
Try playing in the space a little bit.
Try playing in the
Yeah.
space a little bit, you
And that
fucking
space
miser.
is a man in a costume smashing miniatures
Yeah.
while sparklers go
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Sometimes the suit's on fire.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, the movie we watched after this, which we won't be discussing, but which was very fun in contrast, was Godzilla versus Megalon. And when I tell you how many things, well, first of all,
We watched the dub.
We watched the dub. First of all, the dub will do psychic damage. Second of all, it's fucking rancid, but also Godzilla looks so cute in that because the suit is like a little bit different and like.
It's also really old by that point.
Yeah. But no, comparatively, this one, it's interesting to see the different, like, the differences between the two kind of intentions in the production.
Mm-hmm.
So, to speak on this from a mecha perspective, is kaiju and this movie closer to Super Robot than it is like Grit Mecha? Is this more of a
I think
Super
so.
Robot?
I mean,
Kaiju tend to be in movies where I feel like mechs are very heroic, whereas there are a lot of mech media where it is literally about being war.
well, and there's also like, not to speak too much of things that we're not necessarily covering today, but like in the sequel to this, like there's straight up fantasy elements, and I feel like the like, I feel like that is more of a Super Robot thing. Also, like this isn't like a total blanket statement. I would say the presence of a super chest laser is pretty
The absolute
Super
zero
Robot.
laser, which
Yeah.
I immediately was like, have we gotten there with physics? I don't think we got there with physics.
Big O who?
Listen, we built a robot around Godzilla's skeleton. Of course we can make a super freeze gun.
yeah.
The skeleton thing just seemed disrespectful.
Well,
You
that's
did that
that's
to his
kind of what the
dad.
movie's about, right?
Yeah.
So
That actually
No, it's
comes up in
about-
the sequel a little bit.
It's
so.
about getting your dad laid. That's
Right,
what this
that's
movie is
true,
about.
that's true.
Okay, yeah, there are two plots happening in this movie. One plot is about Godzilla's beef with Tokyo, which is ongoing. And
Oh, this isn't Godzilla. This is Godzilla 2.
Oh, Godzilla Jr.
the second,
Godzilla the second.
Do they
Godzilla.
give him a name
No,
at
they just
all?
call it
Just he's
Godzilla.
one of Godzilla's species.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Godzilla Jr.'s beef with Tokyo, and then Tokyo's attempt to squash the beef by murder. And then there's a second plot line happening where a single father scientist is trying to get with this female pilot who has basically decided she wants to die for real.
Much dishonor.
Yeah, and they're doing the rom-com trope of the kid is way too invested in the parents' relationship.
Yeah.
The kid that
Well-
they bring to the defense agency.
While also talking to the kid's mother's spirit that's inside a plant.
Inside of a plant. Okay, question. Is the plant a mech? Because if the mother's spirit is in it and it does move, because it's that retracting
is the plant
fern.
in Tokyo SOS?
I can't remember.
I can't remember
It's been
either.
a while. That's
No,
why-
because I think it was implied at the end of this movie that she like threw it in a dumpster.
Oh.
Because Akane is like, I used to have a plant too. You have to give up on that sooner or later. And I was like, I don't know that you do.
If you're bad at owning plants, you do.
can
And then
keep a
later-
plant if you want, I think.
And then later she sees the kid without the plant and is like, where's your plant? Oh, I understand. Which to me implied that the plant got dumped in the garbage.
Well, she was
Wow.
using it as a crutch for her mom dying, which, like, get over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give your
You're
mom
dead.
that.
Get over it.
Get over it.
By the time you're 10, you shouldn't care about death anymore.
Yeah, by the time you're 10, you shouldn't be caring for a fern. This is known. But yeah, so those are the two simultaneous plots happening.
But Kyle, walk us through how this movie starts.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the movie, you know, Godzilla makes his landfall for the first time in 45 years.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
Love that for him.
Love that.
Long walk from the bottom of the ocean.
The Japanese maser lasers. They're just masers.
Masers are lasers for men. We established this last night.
It's actually, I think it's microwave is what the M stands
No,
for.
I think
it's men.
I
It's
think
men.
it's
Okay,
lasers
you're
for
right.
men. Lasers normally are for ladies, and masers are for mental men.
Oh, that's why Akane couldn't drive it.
Because
they made the mistake.
Anyway, this first scene in the rain looks great.
It
There's
does.
a great comp of the news reporter with Godzilla coming up behind him.
Oh, I love
yeah.
that.
The
super
fake,
good.
it's such a good like that scene, like the
Yeah.
whole build up, and then the like guy at the convenience store, and he
Yeah.
sees the military trucks going by, and he's like, oh.
They do a real good job several times in this movie with scale, like having like literally a guy picking up cans, and then also Godzilla just absolutely blasting through like model buildings.
Yeah.
Well, they do good with the forest in this,
Yeah.
because like they do some map blending where the foreground is normal people, and then they have the background of him in the forest. Couple questions about Godzilla.
Okay.
So they made the masers the first time Godzilla got here. That's from the original,
No, they didn't have masers in the original. I think,
but they had them in other movies.
yeah. Well, we saw them in versus Megalon. They had that dish thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't.
So it's an
know-
AU where in every AU
Yeah.
they develop
It's
a maser.
basically, yeah, it's like once they showed up in one of the films, it's like, just assume we've done this.
Yeah,
now.
we've done this.
Like,
Makes sense. Makes
yeah.
sense.
In this
We all got
movie-
to that in
Yeah, yeah.
technology.
Don't have to reinvent the maze.
Yeah. In this movie, I think it's implied that they developed them to defeat Mothra because they have that montage where the first prime minister, who, fun fact, she also plays parts in some older Godzilla movies and also War of the Gargantuas, which was mentioned in that montage of
Oh,
the
yeah,
monster
she's
attack.
kind of girl bossing.
Godzilla Margaret Thatcher. That's all I could think when I saw her.
Yeah, but
Bad.
terrible.
So, second question, and I noticed this in this, is the Japanese self-defense force seems really okay with being like, yeah, we'll drive tanks around in armored personnel carriers for your movie.
Yeah,
Like, do they just always do this for Godzilla movies?
Yeah, it was hard for me to tell if this was like archival footage because like there are moments in Godzilla versus Megalon. The only two movies we've ever seen are Godzilla versus Megalon in this movie.
I need you to
Yeah.
talk about the movie we're here to discuss
I know
more.
that- no, but it was interesting. You could tell the difference in that movie where they had some trucks kind of mocked up to look military that they had actors in. And then they were also using like archival footage of real tanks and they
Yeah.
were cutting them together. And this one, it seemed like there was a mix of models. There was a mix of like mocked up stuff, but then it did also seem like the JSDF was just,
yeah.
you doing a Godzilla movie?
Well, I mean,
We're
to
there.
be fair, what is the JSDF really doing these days?
They're defending the ground. How is that hard? Apparently not much, because Godzilla just... So can we talk about where a general should be in battle?
On the front lines, obviously.
You should be in a truck in front of your maser on a ridge line.
On a slope.
Why were they reversing?
Yeah, there was
Because
some,
Godzilla's getting close, so they had to back away.
there
'cause
was
it's too
some
close.
fucked driving in the beginning of this. I honestly don't, justice for Kane. I don't think this was her fault.
No,
She's driving the maser and she hooks the wheel and knocks a truck over the hill and kills the general. Did I get there? Or the colonel or whatever?
Commander
The truck goes rolling all the way down the hill, and then Godzilla goes, oh, and
steps on it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that one.
Yeah.
That stuff is when I was like, okay, maybe I like Godzilla.
Yeah.
Just a little miniature model getting miniaturely stomped by this big footy.
It was pretty good.
He has really clean feet for somebody who walks around all the
We can't do
time.
this. We can't do this.
There's like-
Godzilla does?
Yeah.
He lives in the water.
Always be
Plus,
bathing.
Oh.
it was raining, so
Yeah.
like,
He was fresh, clean, ice cream paint.
Wait, does he
job.
stay in the
Shower.
water all the time?
Yeah.
yeah.
He lives down there.
Is he like a
water.
shark? If he stops moving, does he die?
No, he sleeps underwater all the time.
Yeah, he frequently just stops moving and just.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
think-
should remember this from Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I think that
He's
comes
got
up-
a little. He's got a every 14-year-old girl's dream bedroom down there at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh my god, is that what they were trying to see before it imploded?
Yeah.
What's fucked about Godzilla is he is simply trying to get to Ginza for like more home goods and fixtures, and everyone keeps getting really mad because the only way he can get to Ginza is by stomping.
Translators note, Ginza is a shopping district.
In Japan, it's an extremely high-priced shopping district.
In Tokyo specifically.
I just think Godzilla has good taste. Like, I feel like we have to acknowledge that.
Anyway, this whole scene
He
is
could be
cool.
going to Shinjuku. You don't fucking know. Okay.
He's going to Akihabara.
Yeah.
He's trying to buy
He had the
anime
maid
body
cafe. All right, kaiju themed maid cafe. Would it work?
Yes.
I think it would be great, especially...
I would genuinely be surprised if there wasn't already one somewhere.
Oh, there's
Oh,
my
yeah.
exposure to kaiju. I read a manga and watched an anime called Kaiju Girls,
Oh my
and they're
God,
all
yes.
based on creatures from the Kaiju-verse. So I sort of know.
This is something that's huge. If you ever want Alice to learn anything, make an anime with girls about it. She'll learn about... Alice has learned about hiking.
Horses.
Alice has learned about horses. Alice has learned
Rock climbing,
about...
trains,
rock climbing.
pottery,
battleships.
Trains, tanks,
Yeah, battleships. Yeah.
battleships. Yep.
Well, technically in that one she was on a frigate,
Okay, anyway.
so I don't know
I'm
the
just
inner
saying,
workings
If
of
you
that.
really want to get Alice into, like...
Anything.
like collecting stamps. Get the girl collecting stamp anime going.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, any other thoughts on this besides the amazing funeral scene?
Did I misread? So she gets put on desk duty,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And then like
Literally the library at the defense agency.
yeah,
or
and
some
then like
shit.
at some point after they build Kiryu, someone just kind of comes up to her and is like, I think you should pilot this mech.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know the answer to that.
Is that the...
It was the
You
guy.
look traumatized enough.
Well,
Get in the robot.
he had walked up to her during the funeral and talked to her.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, you can't let it get to you. People
Mhm.
die in war. And then, I mean, I think he was there at the beginning too when they were fighting. I think
Yeah.
he was the one shooting the laser in the car she was driving.
I'm sorry. The Mazer.
In the Mazer, she was driving. But the man was shooting it, so that's probably why it was still powered up.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, there's a whole the fucking training montage. But yeah, he just literally shows
The
up.
training
and is
montage is good. I just saw my notes. I actually watched this like 3 weeks ago. So
Are
some
you
of these-
remembering?
Some of these things are I like didn't know that I'd written. So like this is also in the beginning. We're getting introduced to all the characters.
Uh-huh.
When we meet this disaffected father who's going to design Kiryu and then
Guys,
his
can we
daughter.
talk about the single dad?
We can talk about the single dad. My note is this is the most divorced man I've ever met. Oh wait, it's not divorce, it's death, which is kind of the ultimate divorce.
I mean, it was right there in your wedding vows.
Are you guys gonna have the ultimate divorce at the end of this?
Divorce. Oh no.
Oh, the wedding dies at the end. Yeah, no, this guy has wild energy. Oh no, but one of the parts that I loved when we're introduced to the technology that is going to make Kiryu possible, we are introduced to the cyborg trilobite, who is my favorite character in this
So he's
film.
what is he a professor of?
Doing cool shit. What with robots?
Biotech.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, initially with the trilobite, we are introduced to a couple things. Using remains as part of the design, using robotics as part of the design, and using a very important piece of technology called DNA computer.
now what's a DNA computer?
I don't know, Kyle, do you know?
I'm glad you asked. So, you see, this is explained in the movie. If you pay attention, Alice.
Oh wow.
Whoa! Damn, Alice has just died, so I guess we do have 3 ghosts.
Anyway, so as is explained in the movie, a normal computer uses binary, it's ones and zeros, but the DNA computer has access to like the 4, whatever those
Oh,
are.
the GCAT.
Yeah, and so like
It's twice as powerful as binary.
yeah, and so they have like this split screen where one side is like binary and the other side is the DNA thing, and it's just showing them like branch it off and try to like reach some conclusion or whatever, and like the DNA one goes and then
It's high camp sci-fi gobbledygook.
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
The animation's
but-
pretty cool.
The
Yeah.
DNA computer is an important tool that will help us later.
Yeah.
No, opposite of help. Very opposite
Wait,
of
wait, wait,
help.
what's the opposite of
Well, and who's us? Are we on the Bones of Godzilla's side?
Guys,
yeah, we
we
have
need to
to
talk
right
about what
now.
side we're on in this.
I think I gotta side with Godzilla. Like I said, public transportation in Japan isn't designed for him. And like there's no clean, empty, safe Godzilla lane for him to access.
The entire ocean?
No, but like to come in and like
Oh.
go to Uniqlo.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
We keep bringing up the bones of Godzilla and not explaining what that means.
We'll get there.
If Godzilla wore pants, would he wear them like this or like this?
If Godzilla wore a
Over
plane,
his tail!
Over his tail, where you put a hole.
oh my God. I think Uniqlo should simply make clothes for Godzilla, and then this wouldn't be a problem. I
get that,
So yeah,
comma.
I'm on the side of Godzilla. Where are y'all falling?
I want to talk about necromancy.
Oh yeah. I was like, what? Oh right, necromancy. There's necromancy in this.
I am on the side of Godzilla's bones, but not new Godzilla. Not baby Godzilla that shows up. Just specifically Kiryu.
Godzilla's bones show up in this because apparently at some point in the past, Kyle, you can fill in the details, but here's what I got. Godzilla got straight up disintegrated with bone-hurting bubbles.
Did you see -1?
Bone-hurting
That doesn't
bubbles.
have. Well,
That's not what happens in -1.
No.
Yeah, he didn't get dissolved
different.
when they soak him to the bottom.
That's so. In the original Gojira, there's a doctor, Dr. Sarazawa. He invents this thing called the oxygen destroyer, and it just looks like it's like a tube with like two halves of a sphere in the middle that come together, and then bubbles shoot out of it, and it just completely disintegrates organic matter. That's the gist of it, and they use it against Godzilla to kill him.
Flesh-hurting bubbles.
Yeah,
Flesh hurting bubble.
but like it's really funny because in the original one, if you watch it, like the bones also disintegrate, so there are no bones left. And here they're bones.
We've
They're
rebuilt.
there. We found them.
rebuilt the bones. We had the technology.
So you
just
have Godzilla's
regenerating.
bones from the bottom of the ocean. Where do you put them?
Underwater still
Yeah.
But underwater where?
in a secret base.
Underneath the defense agency. Now,
Yeah.
this underwater container for the bones, where are we going to put a meeting room that overlooks it?
and an elevator up the side of it with a glass wall.
Yeah, how are she supposed
Look,
to do dramatic
I don't
reveal?
know. I don't know why you're so against your military agencies looking cool as fuck. But
Listen, that's the one
that
thing I
elevator's a
want.
mech.
Okay, I do love that they go into the room and they give introductions of the different scientists, never used again.
Yeah, we only care about one.
I wrote their
That's the
names
one.
down in their departments, and I was, oh yeah, just the one guy who fucks up. Who's the guy who keeps trying to recruit him? That guy was kind of hot.
Unnamed Japanese functionary number 3. He was doing his best.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have Godzilla's bones. We have the technology. We've recruited all of the scientists, including the most divorced one who didn't want to come here.
But we got a little extra with that divorced dad.
Yeah.
Because there was only one way he would come.
They had to give his child a job.
At the cafeteria.
He wanted to bring his daughter with him, and for some reason, instead of just like, having a fun time on the military base, like running around, like having fun, she has a whole ass job. She is a barista now.
Listen, the children yearn for the barista mines.
It's the funniest scene in this movie to me is when she's like walking with her like school friends.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like talking. They're like, "Oh my god, I wonder what they're doing. Oh my god, everyone's singing some
That's
kind
where
of
they're very cute.
Mechagodzilla."
There's a Kiro in
And then
there.
she's like, "Oh, I don't know. Okay, bye." And then she turns and they're walking past the military base where she suddenly reveals she has a job.
Yeah.
Also, cutest scene in the movie because she goes up and there's the guard out front and she
Yes.
says, "Oh, Kyrie," and he just like goes to attention and then salutes and looks down at her and says, "Welcome back."
Welcome back.
Fucking Tadaima. Please. I watched the sub.
I watched
the
the
dub with you all.
I watched the dub so that we could experience the single most heinous children's voices until we watched
That's
Godzilla
horrendous.
versus
Did they not
Mechagodzilla.
have kids back then to record
Kids hadn't been
voiceovers?
invented.
Oh, they were all working in the barista mines.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the daughter of our scientist is voiced by like a 24-year-old woman, and all of her friends are voiced by other 24-year-old women trying to sound like different types of children, and it is haunting.
So we've done that. We have a montage of them building Kiryu. The prime minister gets fired.
No, it's just an election. It's just a new one comes in. It's not like they get fired.
No, so I didn't really understand this.
That was an
'cause I was
election?
like psyched because she was kind of a girl boss. And I was like, oh, cool, like she's gonna like make cool decisions and like no. The second a crisis happens, it's like it seemed like she stepped down and then that guy was just there. Yeah,
That's all he does.
I will take full
the amount of times
responsibility.
he's like, I will take.
Yeah.
And yet, nothing happens
Nothing
to
bad
him.
happens to
It's a
him.
real politician story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they change governments. It takes 3 years to build Kiryu.
You ever just change governments?
Akane
They
does
become crypto fascists.
a whole montage where she does pull-ups, which makes her ready to pilot.
Oh my god, Akane's fucking
Akane's
training
montage that's cut with the montage of the daughter just going to school and having a class pet is
It was so good.
It's symbolic because they're both meeting
because
friends.
Kiryu is the military's class pet and that hamster.
Do you get it? Does one person get to take it home each weekend to take care of it?
Kiryu, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what happens if you accidentally kill Kiryu when it's your turn?
You have to build a whole new one by scratch.
The
bring it
teacher
in.
has to get another one as part of the curriculum, but you don't get to take it home anymore.
you bring Kiryu to school and you pretend it doesn't smell and you're like, I don't know, it was fine when I dropped it off.
your parents buy a new one and that looks similar, and then you just pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're building Kiryu. We're getting
Are we into part two
montages.
Oh, this is part 2. We've been in part 2 with this.
Okay.
I just part 2.
Could you guide us a little bit better?
Well,
You're hosting.
I'm hosting.
The energy created in this.
I'm so happy with the energy we brought to the studio today.
Our studio, which is a den and a verbo, in case you ever need.
Oh no, you can't tell them our location. They'll find
Our
us.
current location is
Our current location for literally the next less than 24 hours
Yeah.
only.
deep in the deserts of New Mexico.
Yeah,
You'll
if you
never
can
find us.
and
We're
find
actually
us.
at the testing grounds.
Yeah, we are. We're
From
Yeah, I was able to sit down with Kiryu and
Interview, that'll come up later.
we went to
We're gonna drop the
Alabama.
Kiryu interview.
It's just Kyle going, that is so thought provoking.
And then, the screech. Now tell me your thoughts on the new prime minister after the old one stepped down.
How do you feel about your dad? Anyway.
That's like part 2, yeah. So now the reveal
So
of
guys,
Hero.
this movie is really good at things happening immediately in time, and I love it. We were revealing Kiryu. How's that money shot? Okay, we're a Mecha podcast.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the reveal, the gantry shot
Gotta
of
love a
Mecha.
gantry.
I love this.
Gotta
I
love
like
it.
this better than the original Mechagodzilla.
Wow.
love this
Hateful.
I like
Fine.
this better also than the newer Mechagodzilla. I think this might be my favorite Mechagodzilla.
Really?
I think
this,
so.
This is a good one.
What about the design stands out to you?
I love the tail.
Yeah.
I love the face.
hmm
I love the chest laser.
Yeah. It's like a Predator style. Like,
Yeah,
it
like-
opens with 4 hinges
Yeah.
and does a. Yeah, it has a number of very cool weapons.
We don't know this yet in the movie, but also the cockpit is hysterical.
Oh, it's so like
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad. Like,
they were like, no one's ever going to use the backup internal piloting system.
Yeah.
We're going to make it in a boiler room without seatbelts.
Yeah, you know what? This seems like engineers on a government contract. They're like,
Yeah.
"Listen, we're
So,
just going to do the bare minimum.
I love, I'm going to make the call. That backpack, when they're first putting it on, that's the camphor backpack, baby.
Oh, yeah, the rocket pack, the booster, so
Yeah.
you fly.
yeah.
It looks like the camper.
That and the over-shoulder missile pods,
Mhm.
and his little arm lasers are probably my favorite part because he's just like shooting all the time. 'Cause why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just be shooting all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
And then I started blasting. But it's piece de resistance. Their answer to flesh hurting bubbles is the absolute zero laser, which does something that is impossible in physics, which is completely cool something down to the point where its atoms no longer move. There's no longer any activity at an atomic level, and it turns into a big ice sculpture and then explodes.
Yeah.
That's the scientific explanation for what that does.
It's perfect.
Mhm.
Kyle, what about this design? What about this mecha do you enjoy? What stands out? Especially compared to other mecha Godzillas.
I like that it has a tail. That is great. The other ones don't really have. They have a tail, but it's just really stiff. It doesn't move.
Oh,
This one's got like an actual flexible.
Speaking of the
wooden
tail, what does it do with the tail after it shoots the absolute zero
Oh,
laser?
yeah, it thumps it on the ground.
It thumps it on the ground to create the explosion effect.
Yeah,
No, literally just to shift it enough to break it.
Yeah.
which it doesn't need to do later because it hits 3 buildings accidentally and they immediately just disintegrate.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I like the head design's really cool.
The head is so cool.
It's great.
It's really great.
When it opened its mouth and shot a maser, I screamed.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just like real Godzilla.
On this show, we've covered a lot of lasers. We've covered red laser. We've covered green laser. But there are new colors of lasers on this thing that are just incredible. I think really Japan went all out and they put every color of laser in the rainbow on this thing. And yet it sucks.
Yay.
It sucks.
It does. Another thing I really like about this one is that 90% of the time it's remote piloted from a jet that's just kind of like circling over.
Literally a VTOL hover jet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we should probably explain how it's controlled. So, what's the Kiryu squad?
Oh my God, the Kiryu squad is
Let's talk about
our
them.
Top Gun.
bravest. Yeah, it's
Top Gun.
Top Gun, but very fast. And also, we don't care about them because mostly we care about Akane, the female lead.
You got her in that hat.
Yep.
So
Well,
they
there's
have 3 hover
Really,
jets.
really big. They're really big.
They're giant.
They're not normal jets.
They're
They're
like Concords.
huge jets.
Yeah.
But
2
fighter
of them
jets.
mount hooks, and this Mechagodzilla has mounting points specifically for
Yeah.
these, which one for the tail and one for the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What for the neck? It was like got him right
Yep.
in the
And
neck.
then
Because I think technically it can fly on its own, but I imagine that would be a waste of charge. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know what would be a waste of?
This Mechagodzilla is an EV.
You know,
It's an electric
you know, it'd
vehicle.
be, it would just use volatile rocket fuel that we could use later.
Fuck.
So it has those 2, and then the third is the pilot one, in which the person in the bitch seat can pilot
Which is a Akane.
remotely. And they basically just fly around the fight and sometimes make bad decisions with their jets. But the idea is they deploy it and then only one person actually manages it. But also there's a command center that talks to them, right?
There's a lot of different elements going into the control of this beast, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Oh, there's also
It kind of does matter though, because that stuff collapses, and then we have to do something else.
It's built to like, it's so over-engineered, but it's built in such a short time that they miss things. I do love that the Absolute Zero is controlled by a 10 key.
Yeah.
You have to type in the 10 key code to fire the weapon. It was very like, oh, this is a weapon of mass destruction. You have to do the 10 key.
You have to. And then you gotta get 2 people with keys at the same time.
There was a moment, I don't know if this was ever followed up on, when they first deployed it, where somebody ran by and was like, the U.S. military is on the phone, and I just didn't hear anything else about it. So I wonder if the U.S. military was like, hold on.
Well, that was
We thought this was a toy line. What are you doing?
That was something that came up when there was like an interview when they, I think it was they revealed it or announced here. There was like a bunch of reporters like, is this a sign of Japan rearming? And there's like that concerns about rearming of Japan, which I thought was kind of interesting. In 2002, they're still like, hey.
Well, it's weird because Article 10 it still exists, but like, what was it? 3 years ago, they launched a self-defense landing ship, which is just an aircraft carrier equipped with VTOL fighters and is equivalent to a U.S. Marine landing ship for self-defense. And so I totally get that.
Against Godzilla.
Obviously.
He should break more ships in half.
You know what? Many people are saying this.
The other thing about this reveal that I love is it's a presentation to the media. And you know what they got? A sizzle reel. So they have a video recording of the different scientists walking around labs being like, and this is how we designed the DNA
they're going over
computer.
like its war suite and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot.
They're going like, and the DNA computer, and that's where you get the scene of the two different, the cloud computing, et cetera, et cetera. I just really love, hey guys, we have a media role to play you.
Yeah.
But something happens.
Yeah, well,
Combat?
Combat.
Combat.
No,
no, Godzilla.
Which is a type of combat.
No, I just want to shout out that like the vibes between Akane and the scientist guy are like weird, and half the time it's rancid and half the time it's really sweet.
Yeah.
Like when she saves him from bullies. And like
I love when his I'm gonna call them attempts to feel out if she's in a relationship. He's sitting next to Akane, daughter walks by, and he just looks at her, and the first thing he says is, so do you like kids?
Yeah, that was wild.
And then he immediately apologizes for being weird.
I'm sorry. I'm just so glad to meet you.
Yeah. But then I love the one where he's like, he proposes a bet where it's like, either outcome is a date, and he just kind of says it differently.
It's just who buys it. It's like, if you defeat Mechagodzilla, I'll buy you dinner for your achievement.
Yeah.
And
if you lose to Mechagodzilla, it proves that I let you down in the design, so I'll have to buy you dinner as an apology.
Yeah.
And so, then later that's when that gets mixed up. But I do love that it's like, regardless, you're going on a date with me.
Also, only female pilot. Anyway, so Godzilla?
Who's Godzilla?
Godzilla.
Godzilla Jr.
Actually, you did remind me, we're about to talk that he's going to show up again.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. So you guys watched the dub.
Yes.
There is a Japanese line read in this movie at this point that is so funny to me because it's after Godzilla's already beached at the amusement park and they're already deploying Mechagodzilla. And then like Godzilla does something and one of the scientists in the command room goes, "Nani? Gojira?" And it's like, you're already doing this. What?
I am frequently saying
Nani Gojira.
Nani?
Gojira?
Can we get a clean read on everybody's Gojira?
Gojira.
Gojira. Can you not say Gojira?
Hey, 3 out of 4 hosts can pronounce
Gajiru.
Wait. We have to get back to 3 hosts after this. Will one of us be eliminated?
Yes. It's you versus Kyle right now.
Oh no.
Hey.
This is actually a panel interview in disguise.
Welcome to the
Where do you
Weakest
see
Link
yourself
podcast
in 5
edition.
years?
Piloting Kiryu.
Yeah, that's so real. So they go into battle, they have combat, they have combat.
I love Godzilla's attacking evacuation scene. Can we talk about it? It's never not funny. Everybody running.
Yeah.
They're dropping things.
Cars.
There's cops waving lights.
I feel like this kind of scene falls out of the genre because it became such a joke in other movies. But these are fun. I like them.
These are fun scenes, and then depending on the tone of your movie, these can be scary scenes.
yeah.
Like Godzilla -1 had a really good one of these as
or
he's
like
approaching Ginza.
or like the legendary Godzilla movie when they're like Godzilla's fighting the Mutos and like it's got the door closing on like the thing and you see him fighting. It's like that's just really intense.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love. You can do it intensely. You can do it comically.
Yeah.
But like I do like the evacuation.
The amusement park itself is just a great backdrop too.
Yeah,
this fight is really fun. This is our first like suit versus suit fight, and by that I mean men in suits.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tender embraces in
Something
this film.
I will say also something that I love, and it evokes Evangelion is military never stops blasting.
Yeah.
Just never stop shooting Godzilla guys.
Yeah. No matter how ineffective it is, you have to keep shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So do the masers hurt this Godzilla?
Okay, it's really hard for me to tell. I don't think anything like hurt Godzilla other than the absolute zero because, and I mean, I guess this is maybe them not wanting to do a bunch of gore or damage to the suit, but like that thing is getting shot with 5 million lasers at once, and it just seems to mostly like spin around or yell.
Most of the time, I would say in most Godzilla movies that I've seen, 99.9% of attacks just seem to be generally annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he does not ever seem injured until he dies.
Yeah.
So
he dies or like.
And I
another
think that
monster.
is because they use the same suit for as many films as
as
humanly
much
possible.
as they can.
Yeah, so you don't want to have like, I mean, they could make like 6 suits of various degradations, but also like, some of these are lighter tone, maybe kids are watching them, so you don't necessarily,
but also
bring out the fucked up Godzilla suit.
Just the material the suits are made of too. They deteriorate and like rot over time. That's why I don't think any of them. I saw a picture on Twitter of like the original Mechagodzilla suit, and that's in really good condition. But that's because it was mostly like plastic and metal.
Foil.
Yeah, but like the originals are like made of like foam and sort of thing, so it rots and deteriorates. Like some of the older Godzilla movies, you could actually see if you're watching carefully, like parts of the suits are like obviously ripped and holes in them.
What is Kiryu made of, metal-wise?
Metal,
Gundanium,
aluminum,
space titanium.
It's so light.
It's so light. Like
it's so strong. I'm gonna go with Gundanium.
Yeah.
Gundanium.
I feel like this is in the UC.
Unobtainium.
Godzilla exists in the Universal Century of Gundam. Any highlights from this fight up until the thing?
Again, like so much of them like trying to do fisticuffs just looks like intimate embraces. Like you could play Careless Whisper over most of this fight and it would be like really moving.
I do love when they hug each other, but it's beating each other up.
Yeah. I love when Mechagodzilla zooms at Godzilla just like in a straight line.
Oh yeah, the shots where it's obviously just like
they're just sliding it across the set.
I do absolutely love because he has the missile shoulder pads on Kiryu. And number one, I love that it has the side shootout ones, which is just a visual design, very great.
Yeah,
but also like missiles don't work against Godzilla.
No,
he's just annoying him with them.
Yeah,
like
fine. Eventually, if you annoy him enough, he'll go away.
Look, bottle rockets are fucking cool. I don't know what.
Look, I'm just gonna say, start with the laser. I know why they did.
Yeah,
but bottle rockets are cool. I do love just the actual firework effects for the explosion.
Especially they bounce off.
So do they usually make their own firework concoctions for the explosions, or do they just go buy shit off the shelf?
No idea.
Probably a little bit of both.
They roll up somewhere in rural Japan and they find somebody who has a shack made of plywood and they say, oh, doing another Godzilla movie? And they say, yup. And they bring out a big barrel and put it in the back of the truck.
They go to the Wyoming of Japan.
Yeah,
the biggest,
wherever
most
the
illegal,
fuck that is.
most illegal fireworks they can find.
Oh,
the Wyoming of Japan. Hokkaido?
Guys, I have a Japan
because it's like up there.
Firework
that's
fact.
the Saskatchewan of Japan.
Yeah, Japan fireworks.
Right in what you think the Wyoming
in
of Japan
anime.
is.
Whenever they get fireworks in anime, they just kind of crouch over and hold a sparkler upside down. That's because they have laws about how you can show the use of fireworks.
Really?
In media in Japan. Because they don't want people starting brush fires.
I mean, that makes sense.
So that's why they're never like shooting off bottle rockets and stuff. They're always just crouched over with a sparkler because that's all they can show.
God, now that you've said that, I'm just remembering every anime I've ever seen where they're just crouched over with a sparkler.
I really love the subtlety of the scene where they fire the absolute zero cannon and we get like an Event Horizon horror montage of the A-bomb detonation and a bunch of footage from the first movie.
Oh my god, it's so good!
It was pretty fucked. It had some Metal Gear Solid FMV energy.
God, yo, it took me out.
It would be that montage would have been longer if it weren't for the bleeding heart liberals on the military oversight committee.
Oh my god, yes. But yeah,
We're
is this the fight where it hits the buildings?
Wait,
Yes.
no, oh yeah.
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 But is Kiryu a weapon to surpass Metal
No,
Gear?
that's not. That's not.
It's
that
not?
fight.
Oh,
No, it's
don't
during the
think so.
rampage.
because it does the rampage.
No, because he gets
No,
knocked
it's
in the
the-
second fight.
Yeah,
it gets
this is
knocked off
because
course.
he
Okay.
before she couldn't launch. She can't. She's unable to activate the cannon because
Yeah.
Godzilla's roar triggers the genetic.
Oh,
memory.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then-
we have the Mazinger rampage. That's what
yeah.
happens.
Then Kira goes on a rampage
Literally the Mazinger rampage, dude.
and
When
does
you
this thing where
work-
like spreads open its arms, is just shooting lasers all.
I
over
love
the
the
place.
Yeah,
Godzilla
it's doing the
spreads.
thing from Bad Boys 2 or whatever. Just firing guns with me.
But luckily, there's an evacuation scene, so nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
gets hurt.
They
But
make
yeah,
sure that they announce that every time. They're like, this area's been fully evacuated, just so you know nobody gets injured.
It's so
I just
nice.
love that the major problem with this plot is also Dino DNA. Like, why did you make a computer out of Godzilla DNA? Godzilla yelled.
Because you have to. If you listen to the trilobites, it helps the trilobites act like trilobites.
I frankly.
So this way,
you're so right.
I just
need
don't
to be
think
listening to
Mechagodzilla
Twilight.
needs to act like Godzilla.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly does how you have to fight Godzilla with Mechagodzilla.
This is a real we can use AI to train this because we don't want to pay coders to code out all of
Yeah,
what
I mean, I think
Kiryu would do.
what it's trying to do is like talk about how escalating the use of.
I love this twist. even
I
though
also
we all saw
think
it
this
coming.
rampage looks great. It's
Yeah.
like swatting down the fucking Kiryu squad.
Yeah,
This is one of my
walks
favorite
through
of
that
them all.
building.
Yeah,
The very
walking through the building is
walks through
awesome.
the building.
It's a front shot too, isn't he? Just like
Yeah, you see it like walking through it. And I think they do a shot like inside the building.
but it's a
and-
model office.
Yeah,
like, it's
and you
really
see it coming through the
cutely designed.
windows, and then it
Yeah.
cuts to the other side. Just like walks through. I love that shot.
It's good, and then he runs out of battery
Yeah, and then
because when Unit 01, goes on a rampage,
I thought that was really funny.
it runs out of battery.
How much power does it have left? About an hour.
It's like,
I know that's terrifying because Ava's batteries last like 10 minutes.
Literally tends the cap.
Yeah.
yeah.
This one's like, oh, it'll be a few days.
I can't remember, but I think they say when they're building it or announcing it or whatever, has like a 3-hour battery life or something. Which
is even funnier because at the end of the movie, she's like, the battery's down to 45%.
well, that's the
My
thing.
phone always.
Well, no, but the thing is with the Absolute Zero cannon uses like 40% of its battery power.
Never established. Love it.
No, it's established. They say it at one. I think I don't remember where. But
Oh, I don't.
They
speak
do.
I don't speak Japanese. I
Oh.
didn't understand.
That's-
Well, you did watch it Japanese initially, didn't you? We did watch it.
So
I watched the dub, and they do mention that it does use like 40%.
So-
they run Godzilla off.
It's time. They ran Godzilla off, but
But who's
going
going to take responsibility?
Yeah, I was about to say it's time to take full responsibility because this went really bad. There's a scene earlier where there's a team playing baseball, and then they see Kiryu getting flown out, and everyone's like, "We gotta evacuate!" But look, it's the Godzilla killer, and then like the next thing that happens is the rampage.
Did everybody get the cameo?
What cameo?
The baseball player.
Oh fuck, who was it?
I forget his name, but his nickname is Godzilla, and that's why he's in the movie.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Funny.
fantastic.
But yeah, no. So that was a huge failure, and we have to take full responsibility. Brian,
Okay, so that was a total disaster. Everyone hates Kiryu. Everyone hates the new MP. I need to know if you guys know what the dub says at this point, because in front of his entire staff, his daughter berates him for not having enough empathy for Kiryu and then runs off crying.
yeah, that's
then-
basically what happens.
Well, okay, but in the Japanese dialogue, or at least in the subtitles, he turns to, I don't know, the next person next to him and just goes, "She's eccentric."
No, I think in the English it was something like she's really sensitive to life and death or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
much better than
Yeah.
she's eccentric.
She's
She's,
eccentric.
she's a fucking freak.
Oh,
What can I say about
she's-
my daughter?
She's a woman. Yeah.
Bitches, huh? Yeah, that's your daughter.
It was Hideki Matsui.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, shout out to our listeners who also enjoy Japanese baseball.
She really said, "Hey, I think this thing might be alive and you should treat it like a living being." And he really said, "Hysteria, go to therapy."
He said, "Women, get out of here."
Women with their periods, you know how they
The
are.
immediate plot of the yellow wallpaper commences in her face. Just lock her in a hole. No, she has to go commune with her mother's spirit, which
Yeah.
is, of course, at this point, piloting the fern.
Right.
So, yeah.
So
I just said rice instead of rice.
Right. So when you're having a conversation with your future wife, you have it in 4 places. Number 1, cafeteria.
Yep.
Number 2, the gantry in front of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been saying
And
that.
the
Number
roof, right?
and the roof next to the air conditioner.
I actually love this conversation. I feel like you never really get too many chances to get philosophically owned by a 10-year-old.
Yeah. This is the conversation where is it Akane is talking to her about
Akane,
like,
yeah.
I love the idea of suicide by Godzilla. You know,
I want to die out there.
Akane says that hers and Kiryu's lives are both worthless because nobody wanted to have them and they shouldn't have been born. And Sarah counters that no life is worthless and that being alive is enough to justify having been born, which I think is very sweet.
It's very sweet. A 10-year-old. And the reason we get the backstory at some point, the reason that she feels this way is because her mother died in childbirth. And like, so that's why she's very sensitive to life and death, aka eccentric.
Also, if they hadn't had this conversation, I don't think we would have saluted Kiryu.
Yeah. We gotta salute Kiryu at the end.
Thank you, Kiryu.
Yeah, I think there's a line at one point in the dub where she says to Kiryu, "Us outcasts gotta stick together." I'm like, what are you talking about?
Women. Wow, the power of women.
Are you ever at the orphanage and it's you and Mechagodzilla?
Women.
Well, Mechagodzilla is kind of an orphan.
Damn, you're not wrong.
Damn.
Okay,
wrong. Where the fuck are we, my dear?
We're Rampage. They fixed the DNA computer, so it's not going to happen again.
They took it back to the lab and they got rid of go crazy if you're Godzilla.
They got rid of the ghost from the machine.
Guys, I had such flashbacks to my job where it's like, oh, something's really broken in the code and we need to fix it, and it takes weeks to get the update out and people are just mad the whole time. Real flashbacks.
You know what? We didn't say this, but Alice does work on Mechagodzilla.
Right, as a job.
Yeah, I'm doxing her right now. She works at Mechagodzilla base.
I'm the one who came up with the idea to make his little tail shimmy.
Yeah.
No, I came up with the spin. That was my contribution to the effort, was the spin at the end. Spin it to win it.
Do you live in one of those like military, like near the base apartments where it's like the entire family closet entryway is the biggest room, and then for some reason the kitchen, bedroom, and living room are like a closet behind that?
Oh, 100%. And it's tatami, and the tatami is fucked.
Yeah. Oh, man. And all your screen doors are crinkled.
Because I get to take Kiryu home every other weekend.
We have to make sure there's enough room for us to take off our shoes and turn around. The rest of it doesn't matter.
You don't need living space.
It's got that little water heater that's just built onto the wall because we're like, we don't got room for a fucking water heater.
Yep. All right, what's next?
So we've
Godzilla shows up.
Godzilla shows up again.
Godzilla shows up again.
Godzilla's like, that fucking sucks.
This attack is my favorite sequence.
Okay, yeah.
It's so cool. It's pretty standard,
but it hits such good notes.
I will say one of the things I love about it is there's like a couple of really big wide shots where he'll sweep the area with the laser breath, and then there's like delayed demolitions of all the buildings blowing up. Yeah, it looks so cool really every time.
There's a couple of standouts for me, which is the nurse and the cop helping each other. Very iconic, very picture perfect. Mm-hmm. And then the JSDF, the tanks, T-96s, you all know this. One of Japan's second local produced tank.
I learned this from Girls in Panzer.
We learned learned this from Tankhead.
Yeah.
Wait, yes.
The number one resource on your tank.
The number one resource on tank.
But there's a cool scene where it's shooting at it and reversing, and Godzilla just does a line attack, and they don't even show getting destroyed, but same thing where you see just explode off screen where it gets hit.
Is this the fight where Godzilla gets knocked on his face at one point and then just turns his head and goes, wah, and hits him with the laser? I love that. Yeah. I'm not even getting up. Fuck you.
But in the midst of all this too, we're getting the politics, which is again another I'll take full responsibility.
So gotta be taking full
before they
responsibility.
launch Mechagodzilla, the guy who's in charge of Kira's squad goes to the prime minister and is like,
because they're not going to launch it.
Yeah, they're not going to launch it because they don't want to risk the rampage again. And he's like, you gotta let him. And the prime minister's just like, I don't know. Turns away, starts walking down the stairs. I give full permission. I will take full responsibility.
Oh, he's at the bottom of the staircase and he turns around and he reads that line like it's the greatest line in this movie.
I want to talk about carpeted 90s movie sets for a second.
Yes,
because when this order is given and the like command room for Kiryu starts to scramble and everything, people are running, but they're running on a 90s movie set, which is probably mostly cardboard. And so they're doing like a crisp, light jog to their battle stations. Every second someone's dying and they're like, it's very fun. 90s Star Trek has this exact same problem. When you see someone like running, you never see someone running through the halls of a starship because they have to do like a light jog.
Because it's all just balsa wood.
The hall is actually only like 4 feet long and it's balsa wood.
And they cannot move the camera, so you have to walk slow because we need the full sentence in the shot.
Yeah.
The movie's the whole way. Still don't know what the Kiryu guys back at base are doing.
Well, no, because we know there are 3 people in Kiryu that we actually know well by their personality. There's Akane, who wants to die more than anything. There's the guy who she probably should have hooked up with instead of the random dad, who's like, I believe in you, I believe in women.
No, he's her
and then-
boss. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Weird
That would
dynamic.
make it weird. And then there's her bully.
The bully.
Okay, we didn't talk about the bully.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this subplot?
His brother was killed in her fuck up.
Yeah,
know,
he
but
was in
like-
the car and he's mad.
The story is so truncated because it's literally like they have the locker room scene. Mech locker room scene.
Yeah, we had
Let's
it.
go.
We had
Locker room
it.
scene.
And they
But
take
they're-
her hat because she can't wear the hat.
That was so stupid. The running montage where everyone else has the hat, but she doesn't have the hat because of her dishonor.
But
Hey,
they're like, you fucked up. And then in that first attack, she lands and saves another pilot from a
she
crash.
saves him.
She saves the
Saves
bully.
him.
And then he tries to keep bullying her, but everyone else is like, nope,
Fuck up,
redemption.
dude.
Yeah,
Stop
she
it.
saved
Like
everybody from
that's the
around
whole
anybody.
bullying plot.
Oh, you gotta put
bullying
the,
scene. Oh, get bullied at the cafeteria, I guess.
Yeah, there's 3 bullying scenes, but they move by
Top,
pretty
please
fast.
fuck my dad scene when they shake hands in front of Kiryu. That I don't care what you say, that shit hit me.
Yeah.
I felt emotions,
Yeah.
and I knew that the dad was going to pound her.
God.
But my favorite.
Do you want a little sister?
Oh my god. No, my favorite part of this fight is that this is the fight where she has to go to manual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But first, it jets into the city through the
Holy
TV
shit!
channel.
They can't get there
Yeah.
fast enough. So
Yeah.
what does she do?
Yeah.
Release the clamps. This is when like
This is the part where he comes to body checks, right?
Yes.
yes,
fight.
Yeah.
he
It looks
flies
so
over.
good.
It's so good because you can just obviously see the like how it's just on a wire system.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
He just rockets over and slams into him.
Oh, it's so
And the
good.
footage is also obviously sped up too.
Yeah,
It looks great. I love it so much.
It's really fantastic. There's a lot of really fun filmmaking.
Super cool fight. But why did it get disabled and she has to get in?
It's just like one of the jets takes damage.
Okay.
I do want to talk about a weapon it didn't use in the first fight, which is its electrified Assassin's Creed arm
Oh,
blade.
yeah.
Where the
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
did that? Where was that?
That just comes out,
Yeah.
stabs it in the
That
arm.
motherfucking thing said "rescue a cat" on Pace. I can speak Italian. I speak Italian the way Alex.
That was Italian?
I
Mamma
speak
mia.
Italian. I speak Italian the way
You
Alex
can't
speaks
be
Japanese.
racist against Italians. It's fine.
We invented a way to do it. Don't worry.
Oh, mamma mia, it's a Godzilla.
Yeah, there we go.
Ah, my pizza pie, it stumps on it.
But yeah, I somehow that gets damaged, and so she has to go to manual.
Yeah, my
It's-
notes.
That's
Oh, go ahead.
when I think that's the when she's charging up the
Absolute Zero.
Absolute
Oh,
Zero
that's the
cannon.
one.
And then Godzilla I think that's when he
Shoulder
pops up.
check.
That's when he was
something,
knocked on the ground. She was getting ready to kill him, and that's when he leans up his head and just shoots him his
and then
laser.
it blasts. They're far away, and she's like, "Whoa!"
Oh, and that's when it hits the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits
Yeah,
the
yeah.
3 buildings,
Hits
and
3
they all
buildings.
That shit ripped, though.
explode.
That looked so good.
And then
That was so funny when it cut back to the control room, and they're like, "The buildings are gone." It's like, yeah, my
Yeah.
man.
Lots of buildings are gone.
yeah.
Ted.
But I think that caused
Ted working in the Kiryu Command Center.
it caused damage to cause a computer malfunction. She had to go inside to reboot it and then pilot it from the inside.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I
think
think
is
it's an
what happened.
incredibly cool
Yeah.
sequence. I am a huge fan of any time technology fails and you have to exit the craft in a dangerous
She had to get
situation.
her grappling hook.
Whether you're doing like an EVA in space or whatever, yeah. But she
Yeah,
had
Kyle,
to
how did she
rappel
get into
down.
Mechagodzilla?
Grappling hook.
I love a mech with multiple access points. Let's say
Yeah.
that. First
It's
one's broken,
fantastic, having redundancy.
but every Kiryu. Oh, did we talk about the Kiryu squad's amazing uniform?
Oh my god.
It's
It's
Yeah.
JV
They're like
football.
they're like black bodysuits with a whole bunch of metal parts sort of glued to them, and then like the biggest chrome helmets. They're not fully chrome, but like the biggest metal helmets you can imagine on a human body.
those
So,
baseballs.
Yeah.
and everybody gets their own grappling hook in case
Yeah,
they
grappling
have
hook.
to grapple.
Yeah.
So grapples up. Let's talk about the cockpit again.
Yeah.
So Kiryu is obviously on the ground, so everything's kind of off. The cockpit is one wall of computers against another wall with the tiniest jump seat with no seat.
The jump seat is directly up against the descending ladder, too.
Yeah.
Every time that thing's stepping, she's blinding herself on the fucking rungs of the ladder. Like,
the computers are like, it's not even on another wall. It's like there's an open area behind them.
I know.
Like she's
I love this too. I love when for some reason random like Japanese computer interfaces have English words on them.
Yeah.
What the readout when she learns that she doesn't have enough power to use the absolute zero beam again just says not enough in huge red letters, and I'm like, that's what my screen looks like every morning when I try to boot up.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough.
That's my Heaven Will Be Mine boot sequence.
Not enough.
They have to recharge Hiru, which fortunately they thought of this.
They thought of this in Evangelion.
Yeah, they had to do the Ava thing. We have to get all of the power. Of course, they only needed all the power in Tokyo, not all of Japan.
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was fun that when they were showing the city lights going off, but
Yeah.
like all the lights went off, I'm like, there's probably cars on some of these roads.
Well, it's obviously just a map.
Yeah, I know, it's obviously a
Yeah.
map painting, but I just thought it was funny. Like,
But it was
you can see the roads, and obviously car
Oh,
lights.
I
and
didn't
then
think
all
of that.
goes
That's
off.
very funny.
Yeah.
Well, cars are all, you have to turn your car off immediately, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, the lights are off.
Also, rest in peace, ICU patients. Never forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never forget. The ICU patients who had to get moved to a high school gymnasium because Godzilla was approaching the hospital.
The only hospital in Tokyo. We
The
know this
hospital.
place.
So how do you get all the power from Tokyo into a giant robot?
Microwaves.
How does that work? We learned this earlier.
Yeah, we learned this much earlier in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
You send it directly-
down the microwave hallway.
You send it directly to Snake's ass, and that converts it.
And then as you're giving the power into Mechagodzilla, she has to go, Kiru, give me power!
That
All
was,
right, that line got me though.
that was wild. Yeah, at some point in this, Akane fully is like, "You are a living being. We are homies. You need to do this solid for me, my bro." And like,
My guy, my
Oh,
bro.
by the way, this is an incredibly radioactive process, so Akane has to use the safety device for radioactivity.
you know, everybody knows.
Oh, I'm sorry, safety device of radioactivity.
See, if you're more radioactive than whatever the source of radiation coming towards you is, it cancels out.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, no.
Makes sense.
That's science.
Yeah, if the Chernobyl people had just jumped into 3 Mile Island or whatever the fuck, they would have been fine. If
This
you
the whole
just-
time she's in the cockpit, the
If they
Geiger
jumped to
counter
the
going
future of
off.
3 Mile Island, they've been fine.
Yeah, just go.
So we shoot the power maser
Power microwaves.
from one of the jets.
Yes.
It bounces off the jet because it comes from the base and hits the jet, and then the jet shoots it at Mechagodzilla.
This is all incredibly cool. Like, I love this ending bit so much where like the bully has to like lodge himself in Godzilla's
Oh yeah,
mouth.
because like she doesn't have the time to charge up the absolute zero cannon,
Yeah.
so they have to distract him, and so he flies his jet into Godzilla's mouth to prevent him from using the heat ray.
Well, to be fair, he flies it shooting guns at Godzilla and then gets way too close to Godzilla, something people keep making a mistake
No,
of doing.
that was his plan.
I think
'cause
he wanted to do
Oh,
that.
he wanted to?
He wanted to
Yeah.
get stuck get in the mouth, so Godzilla couldn't do the heat beam. Because
Wait, did he gain Akane's dream of dying?
Yeah,
No, he
it goes
escapes.
around.
No,
Oh.
he lives. Yeah.
yeah, because she like charges in with Mechagodzilla, pulls it out of the mouth, closes
She
the
like
mouth,
That's
throws
such a
it,
wild
she
move.
plucks his airplane out of there.
like,
Okay, that's
chucks
it.
it, like chucks it, and then he ejects
That
it, shoots
fucking
the jet.
rip.
Oh, that's when the parachute
And then it
went off.
explodes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah, this film
This
is
is
a
a
lot
film.
happening.
And then I think it's shooting Godzilla with the ice beam and the
While they're crashing
ocean
into
frozen.
it. Yeah.
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 freezing around
She
them.
grabs the
Tackles
mouth,
it with the absolute zero
Yeah.
cannon.
going, and then just
Going.
flies out in the ocean, and then there's a big
There's
explosion
big
of
like ice
ice.
sculpture, and you're like, damn. And then the ice breaks and Godzilla's fine.
And Godzilla, well, he's got like wounds on his chest. You can
Yeah,
see.
there are
Oh,
some
okay.
ones.
Which
There's some
shows up
very
in the
visible.
sequel. He's all scarred, and that's how they know it's the same Godzilla. He's got the same scars.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And then he says, fuck this shit.
He's like, I'm going to bed.
yeah,
He walks
it-
into the ocean.
And then
He got
Mechagodzilla
hurt.
floats up out of the water
yeah.
triumphantly.
Mechagodzilla, known to float. Made of
Yeah.
Gundanium.
Well, you know, the emergency balloons pop out and floats.
I love that
Emergency
shit.
flotation. Nah,
Love
Yeah,
that shit. I love when mechs do that. It didn't. Anyway.
And she climbs out and stands on the shoulder and watches Godzilla fucking leave the function.
Fuck this. That shot though.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And that's like the end. The credits roll, and she's still
Yeah.
standing there.
And then
There's
Get
an
a little
after credit
stinger.
scene.
we get a little after
The
credits.
most important plot that everyone was worried about, we have to resolve it.
So we're at the gantry in front of Mechagodzilla. Kane sees single dad and child,
Yeah.
and they're talking. And she says, I'm sorry I lost. I'm gonna have to buy you dinner. And he says, or
No,
Does
no,
he
he
say that?
said, I'm sorry. Well, he says, you beat Godzilla because Godzilla left. So I guess I have
Oh.
to buy you dinner. And she's like, I didn't fucking beat Godzilla. He left the function.
She
It's a
says,
tie,
let's call it a tie.
and I'll buy you dinner, which feminism.
We'll both buy. No, she says we'll both buy each other dinner, so
Oh
we
my
can have
God.
2 dates. And then
And at some point in
Sarah's
here,
so happy her dad's gonna get laid.
yeah, and we realize that she's thrown the fern containing her mother's spirit into a trash can. That's gone.
It passed.
She slam dunked that shit.
Fuck you, Mom!
I got a new mom now.
I don't like old mom. I want new mom.
And a pet.
But then the final shot. We salute Kiryu.
Yep.
Akane turns and looks up at Kiryu, and she finally respects
Respect.
Kiryu.
The way that we saw this coming, like Alice obviously had already seen the movie, but I could see the posture changing, and then she does like the snap to attention. And so Alice and I both perfectly timed. We raised our hands and saluted with her.
Here
when we
lies
watched it.
a patriot.
Yeah.
Here lies the patriot, Kiryu.
It's so hard to square this movie with its sequel.
Well, the good thing I haven't seen it.
This
Yeah,
is
we
the
should have
part.
watched it. I'm pretty
Instead,
sure we did.
instead
segue
we
into
saw
you say.
Godzilla versus
It's
Megalon.
about
It's
a lot
called
about
Psychic
this.
Fairies. That
Is that how they summon Mothra?
they summon Mothra
Yeah.
with their indigeneity
God.
powers.
Yeah.
I've seen the screenshot.
Well, they do that with a lot of Mothra movies. There's always the 2 fairies or Shobijin that are her priestesses that help communicate. Because Mothra is a god.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I believe that. Okay, and this is Nico's grand theory of Godzilla. Godzilla is a he, him, butch, and Mothra is high femme,
Mm-hmm.
and they're dating.
Except for where they fought. But besides that,
Shit
I mean,
happens.
enemies to
Lesbian
lovers.
drama
Have you never
is
seen
insane.
lesbians fuck? Basically like that.
can't say I have.
You know,
So-
Kyle, no.
Kyle, so now what you do is you segue in and you say, well, this has been great, but we have to rate these goddamn Mechs. And you have to say goddamn Mechs.
Goddamn.
But you lean into it
You
any
don't,
way
you
you
don't
want.
have to say that. You can just say,
No, I am.
Alice, I think there's something we have to
Oh, yeah,
do.
you can do that. But I want to hear you say.
Okay.
Well, chaps, there's one thing we have to do.
What's
And
that?
that's to rate this goddamn mech.
That's so true,
That's
because
so
the
true.
only other mech in this is the Fern, piloted by the...
Well, I counted the watch, so...
If we're gonna kind of watch,
Well,
yes,
we didn't
I
see what
guess.
happened to the Fern, so, there's no resolution to that
That's
plot line.
right. So I'm Alice, so I go first. 'cause
Yes,
I'm an A.
you have an A-name.
And then you'll go last because you're the host.
Yes.
Host always goes last.
Yes.
I love Kiryu. I love the whole story. I love the look of it. I honestly thought I would hate. So I'm not the biggest in the super robot. Like, I like it. I enjoy it. But generally, I'm like, this is a little goofy. But like, even Kiryu in this, and I know it's kind of goofy and camp intentionally, it looked pretty fucking badass. Like, I loved the design, and it looked like at no point was any of this seemed cartoonish. Like, we watched the other one.
Yeah.
Jet Jaguar is doing so much with his look. And all
That's
Kiryu
rocking
has
there.
is some blue accents. And I love that. I love the whole story. I love a story of a pilot and a mech. And I felt like them growing. Hate the cockpit. That is going to be my negative point for this one. But I'm going to give this
Cockpit.
cockpit. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10.
That's
This
powerful.
mech was the focus and it was perfect.
There was a lot of classic mech stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian?
I'm an also. Wait, what did you say? 9?
I said 9.
I'm 8.
Okay. You're a
I
little lower.
literally just agree with everything Alex said or Alice said. That's my, I guess my threshold is just slight 1 point lower than Alice's or something.
What was your other knockoff?
I legit don't
Or you
really
just
have,
want more?
I have complaints about the movie. I don't really have any mecha complaints. Like, I don't dislike, I even love how stupid the cockpit is.
But it's not at a 10 for you.
It's just not at a 10.
valid.
Well, for me,
Oh, no, you
I'm
call to Nico.
Oh, Nico.
Oh, thank you. I'll cut it in earlier. It'll be seamless.
Oh, call to Brian too, and we'll cut it in.
No, I already called to Brian. Shut up. You don't know how to run this podcast. No,
She took your hosting job.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have to throw her out like
They
a
took her
plant.
jobs.
You're going to have to throw me out.
It's a dyke job. Okay.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, for this one, Super Robot also isn't really my genre. But this was charming, is what I'll say. A lot of the Godzilla that I've seen so far that is like not American made there's dun 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 dun, but there's also like a lot of charm to the characters and to Godzilla itself and to whatever the enemy is this time. It was charming. I didn't super love the design of it. It was giving me a little bit of Power Rangers, which isn't my favorite thing either. I'm not into like Sentai shows or anything like that. But I have to say, I liked that it was like a multi-piloting setup. I liked that there were so many different like communication and guidance things happening. I loved the trauma response rampage with the DNA computer. I loved that there was like a reaction because it's technically like a modified part of that species. Like, I really like that. But the crowning moment for me was literally like her going to the access hatches and, like I said, doing my favorite thing in the world, a dangerous entry to a, like sub cockpit, and then having to pilot manually. You love in a mech show when they have to go, we're switching to manual. Like, it's peak every time. So I'm going to put this at a 7 just because, like I said, I'm not huge into the aesthetic design, but I did love so much of the things that happened in this movie, and it was a hell of a mech movie. Well,
Kyle, my opinion on this mech. Like I said, this is my second favorite Godzilla, Mechagodzilla form, I guess we could call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really cool. It's more just flexible compared to like the other ones. Just the previous two for sure. Just way more like movement on its action. The other ones are very stiff.
Yeah.
This one's got like actual like I think I don't know if it's this one or if it's the sequel where there's like a whole like she's like actually boxing Godzilla. She's like, Ugh.
Oh, there was a scene in this where she's just doing short jabs to its stomach.
Yeah.
It was great.
Incredible. I just love the design. I think I'm giving it like a 9. I'm giving it a 9.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Now you say, with that, we'll head into the break.
And with that, we'll head into the break.
Hey guys, Alice here. Thanks for listening to On the Shoulders of Giants. We're really happy you're here, but if you know anybody who might be interested, we'd love if you share our work with them. If you are enjoying what we're doing, maybe send us a message, or what would really help us out is if you leave a review online. Really, a lot of the algorithms will push people down if they don't have reviews, so it really helps if you just go and write something on the internet. Heck, we might even read one on the podcast if it's really nice and makes our hearts go doki doki. So if you could do that, maybe do it, and thanks again for listening. Now, back to the show.
So what you do is you say, welcome back from the break, we're going to play a game, and then you run this game. We are doing these two against each other.
Oh, Alice decided to opt out
because I'm gonna help you.
Alice's teacher's
What do you
assistant today.
I would have figured all these out.
Yeah, that's why you're not playing.
That's why you're pitting us against each other, the bitches who don't know anything.
How am I supposed to do this one? Just say that one. Just do I do the
spell it?
Spell it. Okay.
Spell it,
okay.
And then you can explain that as periods in between.
Okay.
Yeah. You say welcome back from the break or something equivalent.
Welcome back from the break.
We're gonna play a game.
We're gonna play a game.
The name of this game is.
The name of this game is Which is the Real Kaiju? You'll be presented with a list of 3 Godzilla monsters. Of these 3, 1 is real and canon. The 2 are fan-made creations. You'll need to identify which is a fake, and stealing is allowed. For bonus points, we'll be guessing the real Godzilla monster's largest height. Price is right rules, closest without going over it.
Oh, okay.
So you always start alphabetical. So Brian will get question 1.
Question 1. Which of these 3 is real? Gorosaurus, Garudazilla, or Coopular?
I'm pretty sure Gorosaurus.
Yay!
I did it!
Nice!
Right. What was the largest height of that?
That monster.
I bet
Oh wait, so they're all real? Which one's a Godzilla?
No. 2 of them are from so I found a fan-made kaiju wiki where people make their own fan creations to discuss how they do it.
They're Wikia's strongest warriors.
So one is canon from
an actual Godzilla movie.
I literally got them from the website, official, and each of them has achieved a largest height in
their max
production.
Height.
Okay,
so you're going to guess without going over.
I think Gorosaurus was 200 meters. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, Brian.
Fuck, I'm too American. I don't know meters that well.
2 feet, I'll do the conversion. Oh, I know feet pretty
a meter
well.
is like a yard, basically, and a yard is 3 feet. So,
right. Halt.
Sorry to friend of the show Ghost for saying a meter is basically a yard. I know you're very mad. But you don't drink a meter of ale.
I'm gonna say
do you?
160
meters. Both over.
No point.
No points.
Was it only 6 meters tall?
50 meters.
Oh, okay. So I got to come down a little bit. All right.
Question number 2, Nico.
Yes.
Which one is real? DIY Godzilla, BARAGON, Paragon, both periods in between.
Okay.
Or MOGUERA, Mogira, with periods in between.
What if this was just DIY Godzilla? Like, I've made that. I made that. I'm gonna say Mogira.
That is correct.
Oh shit! I think Mogira was 70 meters tall.
Brian?
45.
Point goes to Nico.
Hey! Are you tracking the points?
Yeah. Keep the points, Alice.
Alice, you are
That's your job.
You're the understudy host today.
I've done this longer?
No.
No.
Kyle
Just no.
Kyle is
No.
a journeyman now. You're an apprentice.
Let's see. So that was...
One for Brian, and then we both missed the bonus, and then
Mhm.
one for me, and I got the bonus.
Yeah, and then we're
So
going back
2
to
for me,
Brian
1
for
Brian.
question
Yeah.
3. Brian, which one of these is real? The kaiju,
Like
Baby-
the man.
Baby Godzilla, or God Godzilla?
Baby Godzilla.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wait, they got a baby Godzilla?
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's
cute.
horrible.
Yeah.
I'm the baby, have to love me.
It happens
Oh
in
my
the
God.
it happens in the Heisei era. There's Baby Godzilla, and he grows up in the last like 3 movies. He goes from like baby to little to Godzilla Jr.
remember-
Wait, are you telling me there's a coming of age Godzilla
Yeah.
movie?
You remember... sorry. Height.
Yeah.
Before I do my best.
Height.
3 meters.
14.
Both went over.
Oh, wow.
1.64 meters.
Oh my God, that's just like a little man.
Totally agree.
That's like
tiny.
Alice's
Yeah,
height.
he's really tiny.
So, you saw the TV show Dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, I said, that's why I said, I'm the baby, you
That's
gotta
it.
love me.
Yeah, that's it. That's
But
it.
green, but green.
Yeah.
But green.
Question 4, we go back to Nico.
Mhm.
Which one is real? Mecha Queen Mothra, Mecha King Ghidorah, Mecha God Godzilla.
I want to date Mecha Queen Mothra. But I think it's Mecha King Ghidorah. Those words are in my brain.
Correct.
Oh, yay! Woo! Mecha King Ghidorah was 413 meters.
413.
Yes.
So specific.
Can you just give me like a guesstimate of how tall, like on average, how many meters an average skyscraper is? Actually, I can look it up. That's not cheating.
Yeah, look up the height of a skyscraper.
In Japan.
Meters.
Height of Japan.
Everybody's learning something today. I think that's really beautiful.
400 meters.
Oh, whoever gets question 7 is going to get it.
Oh. About 150.
I'm gonna say 270.
What would you say again, Nico?
413.
413, 270. Both over.
Oh, really?
Hey,
100,
Mecha King Ghidorah.
140 meters.
Okay,
Why are you
Mecha
stubby?
King Ghidorah is a short
You're thinking,
king.
you guys are thinking way too big. For
Yeah,
these
we're
monsters.
doing galactic level threat.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because I've seen footage of King Ghidorah. I feel like that seems really small.
Sorry, this is officially
Yeah.
from the Godzilla website.
Short.
Yeah.
King Ghidorah.
Short King Ghidorah.
Question
He hunches.
5.
If he walked straight, he'd be 413.
That was Nico, so we're to Brian. Which one is real? Sun Godzilla, Space Godzilla, Mothrazilla.
Space Godzilla.
Yay!
Oh, is that true?
I know more about this.
I really
You're
wanted
welcome.
them to have had a kid.
Uh,
Godzilla.
maximum height. What do you think on Space Godzilla?
350.
350.
Kelvin?
112 meters, because now I'm
112.
afraid.
Nico gets that point. Closest without going over. Max height 120 meters.
Whoa, that was actually pretty close.
Yeah.
Hey man, in space you
So
can have
great.
anything be any size. Why couldn't you have like a really
Yeah.
fuck off big Godzilla?
Well, but I don't think he's in space. I think he's just from
He
space.
comes from space.
Okay, there's a lot of space.
Yeah.
You can get big
That's
out
so
there.
real.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want him to be bigger. I'm disappointed by
need-
all of these sizes.
Okay, so
me in college.
Okay, someone Google kaiju inflation. We can
Kaiju
get to the right
inflation.
size.
Nobody Google kaiju inflation.
Oh my god.
What have I done? Question 5, Nico.
Mothra could
6.
get that big.
6, sorry.
You're
Which
right.
is the real monster?
Okay.
Killer Soar, Destroya, or Doomzilla?
I feel like it's Destroya. I think that's fun.
You are correct.
Oh my god, they're so fun.
Destroya, or Destroyer, if you watch the movie The Dub. It's really funny.
That's such a change.
I'm going to
lobster
say
one?
Destroya
No.
is 100 meters tall.
100 meters. Brian?
180.
Nico gets the point. It's 120 meters.
Oh, a lot of them at 120. Kind of a standard height, you
Yeah.
maybe wonder. Brian, you're okay. You married him. You get to keep him. Like, you're still winning.
Wait, are
I
you
may
guys
walk-
competing for Kyle right now?
Yeah,
no.
yes.
My
You
love
haven't
and-
gotten the marriage certificate yet. We can
Competing
say
for my
it.
love and
Oh yeah, we got to
affection.
do that after this.
Yeah.
Question 8.
Is getting a marriage certificate a
No, question 7. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Brian's going to get this.
Okay.
Which one's real? Cycle Cougar, Jet Jaguar, or Moto Cat?
This is a tricky one though, because we know Jet Jaguar can be dude sized, but then he also scaled up.
She said max size.
That's what I'm saying. They also
But I'm gonna help you out here. In the Showa era, the monsters were smaller. The last ones we were doing were a bunch of Heisei, and they were a lot taller.
Okay.
Because they had to adjust for like Japan having taller buildings than they did in the 60s.
Jet Jaguar.
So these are going to be, if it's an older.
40 meters tall, maximum.
But Brian has to do it.
Well, we both get to do it.
Well, yeah, but he was supposed to go first.
Oh, it's fine. 60.
Hey, don't get on the bad side of the house.
60, 40.
Yeah.
Nico's closest with 40, without going over. He was 50.
Dang.
You were on either side.
I'm going to level with you. When I was looking through these, I was like, Jet Jaguar seems like such a nothing burger. Nobody will know who that is.
we watched the movie last night.
Oh my god, what were you thinking last night when he showed?
I was like, oh shit. That question's fucked. And then I was like, what's that girl's voice doing?
I'm so fucking glad we watched that movie. Holy shit.
Can we, when we make the podcast studio, the official building, it has to look like their living room.
Oh yeah, it has to have
complete with zip line.
Cubes and like a weird child.
Concrete sitting area.
Question 8, Nico.
Yes.
Which is the real one? Hezbollah,
Okay, hold on.
No, keep going.
Hedorah, or Hadebra?
Now, one of these things is not like the others.
One of these things sounds like you're laughing at someone named Deborah.
Deborah.
Was the middle one just Ghidorah?
Hedorah.
Hedorah. I'm gonna say Hedorah. Maybe King Ghidorah got good head. I don't know what that was.
Dave.
Well, that's the wrong reasoning, but Hedorah is correct.
Yeah, I showed
Hedorah.
was completely wrong.
Hedorah's the smog monster. He's just a walking
He
pile of
looks so
pollution.
cool.
That's on HBO. We can watch that because that one's got a lot of environmental themes and but also weird like animation cuts where like Godzilla will be like do 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 do, or Hedorah will be like pulling up a smokestack and smoking like a cigar or something weird, and then it'll cut to the movie and like Hedorah's got like a flying head kind of thing. He flies over smog and like people are running and all of a sudden they fall over dead and turn to skeletons. It's a wild movie.
That's incredible.
Peak 60s.
Amazing.
I think Hedorah is like 25 meters.
Hey Brian,
60.
you're both wrong.
Thanks.
What did you say again?
20.
20. You said 60.
Yeah.
Brian's closest.
Okay.
It's 120.
Okay, now we're getting back to one.
Yeah, now we're getting a big one.
Standard kaiju dimensions.
Even though that's like an older one, for some reason he's really big. Yeah,
It's because smoking makes you strong.
yeah. Smoking makes you strong.
Official stance of the pod.
Oh
Official
God.
stance, we've done it.
Children, no.
I never said what they were smoking.
Brian, you're gonna get this one.
You're gonna get this one.
Ant-Man, Mothra, or Crabra?
Mothra's not real, and she
Mothra's
can't hurt
not
you.
real and she can't hurt me. No, Mothra. I have to say Godzilla X Kong has the best Mothra to me. Mothra's redeemed.
I
Mothra's
haven't
the
seen
only
that one.
bug who I like now.
Oh my God, that's
But she's so
huge.
cute in the Heisei era.
I love the pictures from the Hasty area. She's so fuzzy.
She makes cute noises. She goes,
She's so fuzzy and cute and very plush doll. And
Well, did Brian get it right? Or
yeah,
not?
that Mothra is the correct answer.
It's
Ant-Man.
not Crabra.
Ant-Man is just Paul Rudd, and he can be your enemy, but he's not Godzilla's enemy specifically.
Max height.
Oh, for Mothra, say 210 meters?
standing up? Or
On her legs,
like,
rising up.
From
Like if
nose
she
to
was
tail.
vertical is how.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm still going to say like 70.
70 and you're
210.
210. Brian's close without going over 120.
Oh.
The standard height of monsters. You know this
I
now.
feel like Mothra's always so much smaller than everybody else.
Because she's always flying
Yeah.
and kind of
Always
low.
be flying.
Yeah.
2 meters. Is it?
I'm American.
I thought.
Oh, you didn't write this game, Kyle?
Well,
No.
don't you dare break kayfabe right now.
Oh shit.
Come here,
Podcast
I'm
is
gonna
about
put you in
wrestling.
an arm bar.
Okay, Nico.
Yes.
Which is the real one? Dan, Rodan, Rordan.
Okay, Rordan is from the game that Brian runs for us, the Armor Stir game. So that's not correct. Dan is part of Dan and Phil, so that's not correct. I think
The only Dan.
I think it's got to be Rodan.
Correct.
Yay!
Fun fact about Rodan: in some of the older Godzilla movies, in the American versions they call him Radon because it's supposed to be like Pterodon. It's a Radon, but also I think I think it was Rodan or maybe it was Radon was some kind of like cleaning product at the time too.
Radon can get in your basement and kill you.
Yeah,
Dan may
that
not be the name of a kaiju, but there is an anime in which there's a mech named Dan.
Sure is.
Which one?
Gunsword.
Okay, we need to cover that one.
Anyway,
We do need to cover that one.
Gunsword's so good.
max height.
For Rodan.
And for Warden, and for Dan.
Well, I'm just gonna do it to him. It's got to be 120. Wait, this has feet on it.
No, it's meters. It's meters. I
mostly
wrote
meters.
feet. It's meters.
Okay. 120 meters.
119 meters.
Both are over.
Damn.
100 meters.
Oh my god, kind of a
Oh, that
short.
makes sense. He's small. He's always
He's a
getting his
smart
ass kicked.
Yeah, because he
Sad
just
for him.
flies. That's all he's got.
So now what you do? Oh, sorry. There's one more.
Bonus question.
Wait, Alice, what kind of question is this?
Gotta get to do it in real life. Bonus.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Question.
For a bonus point, give a line read of Godzilla is inside all of us. Really act it out. I choose the best for the extra point.
Okay, Brian,
Do I go first?
Yeah.
What is the line again?
Godzilla is inside all of us.
Godzilla
Which
is
is from the-
Godzilla is inside all of us.
Godzilla is inside all of us.
All right, my turn.
your turn.
Godzilla is inside all of us.
I'm just gonna bleep that.
Thank you.
Sleep it.
Kyle, yours.
Yes,
Godzilla is inside all of us.
that was powerful.
All right, or what are your points? Who gets them?
I feel like it's cheating if I give myself.
Oh,
the
you're the host.
Actually, I
Hosts can do
crushed
whatever
it.
they want.
I fucking crushed it. So actually, I get all the points.
You did, I think.
Oh no, I
Nico.
was saying you fucking
Oh
crushed
yeah,
it.
no,
but
I think Nico did.
I was doing a
Brian
Grizzly
could have given more like action.
I was trying to do dub acting where it's like
Oh, yeah.
some random words are screamed and the rest is
Yeah.
delivered like you're like literally reading off a piece of paper.
Microphone above you.
points for authenticity, but
Now you announce the winner.
the winner. Oh my goodness.
what do we get if we win? Do we get a kaiju? Do we get?
Do we get Kiryu?
You take your home. We should be.
You
I have
get,
to
we
add
get to
these
take
up.
Kiryu home for a week, and if we kill Kiryu, it's gonna be really awkward, and we're not gonna get to take Kiryu.
But
home
it is
again.
Kiryu from the Yakuza series.
Oh.
Sorry, we couldn't get the Mechagodzilla.
Look at you,
Wow, the winner.
Just got an old man.
With 10 points, I think it's 10 points.
Okay.
Is Nico.
Size game on.
The size game unmatched.
I love knowing the size of women, and by women I mean kaiju.
All kaiju are women.
Yeah, they
And
are.
all women are queens.
Yes, except for King Ghidorah, because is he him lesbian?
He's a king.
Also a drag king. Yeah.
So the next thing we do is the mailbag. So what you do
Mailbag.
is you say, okay,
Flash
that was the
transmission.
game. We're going to go to the mailbag, and we have a letter from a listener, and then you read.
Oh,
this.
listener.
Well, you can say flash transmission if you want. You had it correct. What the fuck is a mailbag? We don't have those here.
It says it on our
I'm
outline.
literally kicking you out.
No, the episode's
do
not
need to
over. You
upload
can't kick me out of the pod yet.
Yeah.
And now, what's this? It's like we have a flash transmission.
Oh my god! How'd they find our location?
Yeah, hold on.
Deep in the New Mexico desert.
Yeah.
Dear OSG, I'm a widowed father to a lovely daughter who's quite rambunctious. While I teach at the local college and have tenure, I make sure to make her a priority. Recently, I've become involved in a major government project that has taken me away from raising my daughter. Just the other day, I found that she's playworking at the cafeteria at our government-provided dorm. I feel the lack of a maternal figure in her life is affecting her development, but I can't leave this contract anytime soon. Do you have any advice on how I can provide a more structured childhood for my daughter, or help to address the lack of a female authority figure in her life? Thanks, Professor Single Dad.
I have an answer immediately.
Ready?
So you cremated your wife. But one thing in the Japanese tradition is you don't fully cremate the bones. You actually put those and you stack them in the urn, which tells me you have the bones. You have the technology. It's time to make a DNA computer that can perfectly parent your child. It's time to resurrect.
It's time to make Mom Ryu.
Mom Ryu. It's time to make Mecha Shufu, which is housewife. It is time.
Can a mom be a mech?
Yes, it's called Evangelion.
And how you do it? How you do it? So you build the whole frame and everything, but who's going to pilot this?
Yeah.
We already know. You open the
New
chest
girlfriend.
cavity. No, you open the chest cavity.
Fern.
The fern is in there.
Point of order,
Yes.
because I know you're a weeb and you know this, they only do incineration in Japan.
Well, yeah, they do
Cremation.
cremation, but the bones are left afterwards. They're not fully. In America, we put those in a blender. That is not a joke. We put bones
Do
in
they
the
keep
blender.
the bones?
No, but the family comes together with metal chopsticks. This is the only time family members can like hold the same piece of something with chopsticks, and they stack the bones in from the feet up to the skull in the urn. This has been your fun fact. I recently read a book about mortuary traditions.
Wow.
Love that.
Anyway, I'm just saying you cremated her, but there's some DNA down in there.
So since you officiated us, can you also bury us then?
Yeah, I
how
guess
that
I
works?
can.
Is that how that
I
works?
could do the service at your funeral.
Yeah.
Can you do the embalming?
I don't
I mean,
want
I
to
did
be involved.
play Mortician's Assistant at like horror games,
That
so
was pretty
probably
good.
just don't get possessed by a demon because I can't make heads or
Too
tails of
late.
this.
No promises.
All right. Well, what are y'all's ideas for?
I was just gonna go the Eva make a mech mom.
Yeah,
Just-
but big this time. Not mine. I was thinking mine would be like small size. Yours is like
No, you want one trip to the grocery store.
120 meters.
As we know, it's a kaiju height.
Standard kaiju height.
I think you should respect yourself as a single parent and know that she will have plenty of opportunities to have feminine authority figures, as you have so little swag that it is really difficult to look at sometimes.
Lethal lack of riz.
Lethal lack of riz.
A riz deficit.
Oh,
You should
Yeah.
take after Ariana Grande and focus on yourself.
also get her a part-time job.
Yeah, maybe just get her more labor.
The kids yearn for the barista mines.
The barista mine.
That's where they get the coffee beans out of. No, actually, if you mine it, it comes out as grounds. Hey, this is a coffee joke.
Say thank you for the transmission.
Thank you for the transmission. That was great.
We sent Alice.
Oh wait, Kyle, did you say anything?
No, I didn't say anything.
You're part of this.
I'm part of this. So we're going to say this. I think what you should do is find the hottest lady on the military base and flirt with her, and just ambitiously flirt with her.
Now, is the hottest lady on the military base one of the two female scientists or the
Japanese-
only
Japanese
female soldier?
It's Japanese Margaret Thatcher. I don't know what you're...
Japanese Margaret Thatcher. That is up to you to figure out. I cannot legally tell you anything, especially when it comes to women.
Kyle's like, I'm
Thank you for
not-
respecting women,
Well,
Kyle.
fine.
Listen, I'm gay. I don't know women.
That's so true. Kyle hasn't met
Oh
anyone.
my god,
in
I'm
his
gay
life.
and I know women.
That's fucked up.
Wait, am I
By
gay?
our powers combined, Captain Planet,
You know one woman.
Captain
me.
Homosexual.
All right.
So yeah, there we go. We thank you for sending that flash transmission. That's incredible. And that's it of this episode of On the Shoulders Giants, where we discovered
We discovered
Curio.
we discussed Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla. Any parting thoughts, Alice?
I just want a porno based on this.
Oh, okay. I want like
No, I do too.
You thought about it.
Oh no!
I mean, that cockpit is really stupidly laid out. You know, I think we could improve it with some swings and like.
I'm just imagine the giant robot kaiju sex scene.
Yeah, I think you know what? It's so true. When was the last time we saw Godzilla make tender love as many enemies?
Anyway,
We
Google kaiju inflation.
Official stance of the pod.
Google kaiju inflation immediately. All right.
Right. What about you? What are your thoughts? How about you, Nico?
Well, that was my thought. Was just I need to
We
see
did it.
Godzilla.
More cockpit. What's wrong with having a pillow in your cockpit? What if you want to rest your head?
More ergonomic cockpits
More
for female
ergonomic.
drone pilots.
Before we get to the last part, though, guys, this has been a great interview. Do you think I have what it takes to be a host on this pod with you?
I don't know. I think I don't know that you're a culture fit.
What culture? I just align with the core values of this pod. I just feel like I'm a great candidate.
We'll give you another try on the next episode, and then we'll check.
We'll
in
call
again.
you, don't call us.
Yeah.
Kyle, how did I do?
Kyle's putting you on a pip.
No! The pod improvement plan!
Listen, we'll contact you. Don't contact us.
Okay.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for listening. Pilots, remember, you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com. And
See how easy it is to get that right?
non-pilots can send general questions
I'm
or
in an area of
feedback.
growth.
Non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can also catch up with us on social media, linked in the description, for updates and more. Make sure to check back in 2 weeks when we'll be, well, I won't be, but they'll be discussing.
Random Access Histories featuring the Follow the Leader podcast.
Until then, goodbye. I love you.
I will take full responsibility.
I take full responsibility for loving you.
Goodbye. I love you.